Hey everyone. Nvidia's success on the back of the rising effectiveness of artificial intelligence is no secret to anyone that's been following the stock market in the last year. My partners at the Motley Fool created an excellent chart that allows us to visualize the reasons for Nvidia's excellent success. So I thought this would be an interesting video visualizing Nvidia's success in its latest quarter, Q1.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
All right, so here is that beautiful visualization I was talking about. Now, the data comes from Nvidia, but the chart comes from the Motley Fool. And what stands out initially is all the green, right? The green is all the positives for Nvidia revenue, and then the red are the expenses, the money exiting Nvidia. So what you notice here, Nvidia, let's start with revenue of $26 billion in its latest quarter, Q1, which was a couple of billion better than the company had forecasted for the quarter. More impressively, if you look at the cost of revenue of just $5.6 billion. So it cost the company $5.6 billion to manufacture the products that it sold for $26 billion. Now, famously, Nvidia outsources its manufacturing to companies like Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. And that outsourcing business model has worked in Nvidia's favor, as the company has been able to use the majority of its energy and its resources to design and create the products and then have the manufacturing done by Taiwan Semiconductor, which has demonstrated great skill in that regard. So that relationship has benefited Nvidia, and it generated $20.4 billion in gross profit in the latest quarter. If you take the $20.4 billion, divide by the $26 billion in revenue, that will give you the company's gross profit margin, which is extremely high for a company in the business that Nvidia operates. So that very elevated gross profit margin is one of the reasons why Nvidia's stock price has exploded the way it has. Nvidia's stock price is up 3,350% in the last 5 years. Those are remarkable gains for this extended period of time. It's really unprecedented for the rapid increase in stock price that Nvidia has experienced. So moving along the chart, what else we notice is the company's operating expenses at $3.5 billion. That is also a small fraction of the company's total revenue of $26 billion. So that left the company with operating income of $16.9 billion in the latest quarter. Again, if you take the $16.9 billion and divide it by $26 billion, that will give you a very large operating profit margin. Nvidia's operating profit margin in the latest quarter is among the best of the best in operating profit margin for companies worldwide, at least for the companies that I'm following. Nvidia came in second place behind only Visa in terms of the operating profit margin. In its latest quarter, Visa was up near 67%, while Nvidia delivered this operating profit margin here. Now, that operating profit margin is a combination of factors, right? That includes what you generate in gross profit. So you've got to have a solid gross profit margin in order to generate a high operating profit margin. If your gross profit margin is negative, then your operating income is automatically going to be negative, because you're not even getting past the gross profit line item in generating any profitability. Unfortunately, many of the more popular electric vehicle companies are in this stage right now where they're not even generating any gross profit. and let alone looking at profitability on the bottom line. Nvidia is way beyond that. Nvidia is a more mature company. It's already in the position of generating great profitability. So then you get some other income and expense, 370 million worth. Not a meaningful number for Nvidia when they're generating 26 billion in revenue. 370 million is a small fraction of that. And these are line items that are changes in the value of their assets and liabilities and not for their normal course of operations. And since it's a small number, I tend not to pay too much attention to that line item. Another item that is impressive is the $2.7 billion in research and development. That's roughly 10% of the company's revenue of $26 billion. I really like when companies that have demonstrated success in their research and development, I like when they continue spending large percentages on research and development. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're a company like Nvidia, its latest GPUs are clearly the best in class, highly in demand. Demand is in excess of supply right now, so they're getting sold out. As soon as they make them, they get sold out. And so when you've demonstrated that kind of success, and they've done this repeatedly over the last decade, then I want you to continue investing in making new products, because you've demonstrated that you have skill in this, right? You're not wasting money. You're not being wasteful. Your spending in research and development is actually turning out products that are generating multiple more in revenue and profit. So I want you to continue that. And that's what I mean with Nvidia. I like when companies like Nvidia, Netflix, etc. spend money on research and development. And the way they can do that is by generating enough profit, enough gross profit that leaves that money to be invested, right? They generate so much money in gross profit, $20 billion in gross profit, that they can allocate to research and development. And this number here might be cut off in your screen, the 777 million they spend on sales, general, and administrative. They spend a small fraction of their revenue on advertising and marketing expense. And again, that's a testament to how highly in demand their products are, that they don't have to spend very much money marketing their products. They pretty much sell themselves because of the value they add to the end users, to the value they add to currently their primary end market is businesses using NVIDIA's GPUs for generative AI and developing and inferencing large language models. And so finally, we get to net income on the bottom line, $15 billion in net income on $26 billion in revenue. On $26 billion in revenue. This is roughly 60%, a little less than 60% net profit margin. That's a really strong net profit margin for Nvidia. Very strong net profit margin for Nvidia. And so I like this chart. Thank you again to the Motley Fool for creating this chart and letting me use it. I think it demonstrates visually the phenomenal success Nvidia is having. The stock price is soaring, but this is why the stock price is soaring. The company is generating significant sums of profitability, and this profit is growing year over year at rapid rates. Did you know that over 90% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed? It'll really help support my channel if you hit that subscribe button. And oh, by the way, one of the benefits of being subscribed is that I take requests from subscribers more often than I do from non-subscribers. So if you prefer that benefit, please subscribe to the channel.